What's up, Pirate Crew? How you doing? This is your boy, the Sifu. I just wanted to come at you guys real quick with a deck analysis of Ishho. That's right, your boy Ishho. I've been playing him for a little second, and I thought he is a good leader. He's actually been doing some work as I've been trying him out, so I thought I'd go ahead and show you guys the deck profile and what we got going on here. So this is a very control deck. It has a lot of elements into it that makes you almost feel like Whitebeard on your turn, and just can feel very Whitebeardish on your turn too when you have all those sixes coming in. It's a very fun deck. It's a very different deck. I like it, and if you've been trying to mix it up, you should play it too. But without further ado, let me go ahead and get started with the deck list. We played 2 Great Eruption. Great Eruption is really great, and you're going to see it combos really well in this deck and with other cards in this deck. This being able to -2 cost to anything on board, plus draw you 1, replacing itself, make it so that your discard abilities almost feel like they're for free. Play 2 of those. Play 3 of Granny. I want to go up to Granny, but I'm still playing around with the deck. So, but I find that this ratio works pretty good, especially whenever you just need to see this monster to go ahead and make some sort of play with, again, level reduction, or if you just need the counter in hand. We had 4 of the brand new. Moving on into the 2 cost. 4 brand new is really good for searching everything that you need in the deck. It's going to be really good for making sure you have a consistency piece. It's going to help really good for law shenanigans. Going on over into the 2 cost again, I'm playing 2 Shockwave. Shockwave is a KOing event. It helps you in your Law Zoro matchup. It also helps you in your Delphi matchup. And all 3 of those, also in your blue, it could also go ahead and hit their Cinemaru. So this card is pretty good. I want to actually up its count because its ability to not only defend you, but remove cards on board, and also remove cards on board when hit off life. This card's just amazing. Again, I only think about bumping this up 1 more because it's so good. I actually think about bumping it up possibly 2 more because, again, its trigger out of life is pretty good, and its KOing effect is, you know, insane, especially since it does it on your opponent's turn. Moving into the 3s, we play 4 Kobe. I think this is a mandatory 4 of in the deck. I don't think that you should ever play anything less than 4 Kobe in this deck. Any deck list you see running less than 4 Kobe, discard it, because this is one of the heart and souls of the deck. It is beyond useful. Like, again, you combine it with Leader, when you combine it with Shockwave, you can get rid of a lot of cards your opponent has on board. You pretty much, like I say, with cards like, Great Eruption, with cards like Great Eruption and Leader ability, you can get rid of a large amount of creatures that your opponent plays on board. Moving on to TCG. This is another card that I want to bump up to 4, but it is also pretty good in the deck as a 2K counter. Also, it's one of those pseudo blockers that you put on forward. It's also a card you put on board that puts pressure on your opponent, because once you rest it and you minus that 2, your opponent doesn't want that to stay on board, especially with Leader minusing anything by 3 a turn. It's scary to your opponent. It puts them in a position where they don't really want to put anything down or try and play anything because they're too scared of it being popped. And so they're more concerned with trying to deal with your board than trying to deal with your life. Moving on to the 4s, we play 4 Barcelona. This is also another mandatory 4 of in the deck. This is what gives you that Whitebeard-esque feeling. It's where your opponent always has to invest a Dawn into swinging to be able to get into your life. And because Barcelona can't be KO'd, he makes it harder for him to be removed. And once you start establishing your Barcelonas and once you start establishing your Barcelonas and you have your cycling of your KO effects, or you just have your KO abilities, then your opponent just falls too far behind to be able to effectively KO you, because you just got too many blockers and they have to invest too much down into swinging and not enough into playing creatures on board. This is a face down because I don't have them. I actually headed into my local store today to actually grab these so that I do have them. But it is 2 of the 4-drop Kobe. This card is pretty good. It's another card that I actually want to take up to 3, possibly 4. But its ability is to rest and KO any rest and KO any 2 costs or less. This is pretty good in this deck when you can untap him and keep him on the board, when you can consistently get rid of 3 costs, because he just, with leader ability, his effect reads get rid of 3 costs or less, just rest him. With other cards you play, again, with the Great Eruption, with leader ability, this card reads get rid of any 5 costs or less, essentially, which is insanely good. And being able to restand that and come up with the restand shenanigans in this deck is also really good. I'll be heading to my locals to actually grab 2 of those. This is another card that I'm actually heading to locals to grab 1 more of, because I don't think that you should play it at the number that I have. I really think you should play it at a higher number. Is Garp. I think this should be at no less than 3. 4 is actually, there's nothing wrong with 4 actually. The only reason I'm playing 2 is because I only have 2. But again, I'll be heading to my local store and pick up another one. And then I'll play 2 of the Son Goku. Now, I've been heavily thinking about playing the other Son Goku that you give it a Dawn and it just minuses 2 to everybody on board to make it to where it's a blanket turn -3, and it's an earlier card you can play to establish that heavy -3 cost. Instead of having to wait till you get a bigger body on board, you can manipulate that with what you have on board, like in the other Son Goku does that. But to get into this one, I play this over 4-drop Kuzan because it maximizes the efficiency of this deck while also giving you a counter, which Kuzan does not. And drawing a card may seem like it's really cool, but I believe the pressure that this card applies, along with being able to -4 without Dawn investment, is equally as good as Kuzan. And this is harder to remove because it's a 6 body instead of a 5 body. It's a 6 body instead of a 5 body. So that means your opponent again has to invest Dawn into KOing your creatures and getting rid of monsters on your board, which makes it harder for them to do. Then getting into some random cards that I play, and I've only played 1 of, and I also explain to you why I'm playing one of these cards, or why I'm playing these cards in general. But I am playing 1 Smoker. The 5/7 stat line is pretty good. It's like a vanilla 5/7 stat line. The fact that it doesn't have counter does hurt. That's fine. You can always pitch him for one of your effects that require you to ditch, but summoning him early is pretty good. If you have Blocker, Barcelino, and you have him on board, you have 2 creatures that are going to stick at any point in time. If your opponent plays a 1-drop, you give a Dawn to leader, he's going to do double damage, which is pretty useful in this deck when you're just trying to pressure your opponent for game. Also, the fact that he can't be KO'd means that if you're playing against Rebecca, Mirror Match, Ace, Zoro, any of those decks who primarily use KOing abilities, then that means that you have an attacker that's going to stick and a blocker that's going to stick, which is very powerful, because your opponent can't get rid of 2 cards on your board that just sit there the entire game. They're going to be hurt. And again, that 5/7 stat line is the magic number, and also not being able to be KO'd means, like, yeah, he's staying around for a little bit. Going into the 6s, I played 1 Sakazuki. I do want to play more Sakazuki. I only have 1 Sakazuki. But I do have a Sakazuki alternative, which you will see later on in the video. But right now I just play the 1. 1 is not enough. It is not. 1 is not enough. You need to be playing more than 1 Sakazuki. Never 4 Sakazuki, but definitely 1 is just not the number. But again, I will show you the card that circumvents that. Play 2 of the character Ishho, because he's just getting the deck. Your opponent you'll find your opponent actually at times when they do have a lot of cards in hand, or they're not thinking about this character in particular, then he's just gonna get off. And also his ability plus leader ability, means that you're gonna -4 to your opponent's board, which is extremely strong for 2 Dawn. So that's why you play him. Play 1 Kuzan. Again, I only have 1 Kuzan, and he's rising in price, so getting another one of him, I'm just taking my time on that. But again, kind of important for the deck. The -5 is really, really good. Plus the KOing is really, really good. But that lingering -5 is really what hurts your opponent. And that means into the late game, all of your KOing effects are generally going to get off, because you're gonna have a -6 at that point. And if you're playing anything but blue, then they're gonna have a hard time removing this. I know we're going back in levels, but I'll play 1 Garp. This is really just a filler spot. You can put anything in for this. This is not bad to have in the deck. Again, a good 2K stat line. Its effect is pretty relevant, especially if you're playing against Law Zoro. Helps you clear out board instead of destruction piece, so it's got its versatility, and it's not bad in the deck, but you can do without. Moving on, outside of the Navy support, we're going to go into the non-Navy support. And I do apologize, I did have this set to the side, but I do run 2 extract. I don't know if I've presented the extract yet. I don't know. Let me tell you. Yeah, I do run an extract. I do run 1 extract, and that's supposed to be in the 5s, but it's one of the greens that you run. It's pretty good. I would probably replace this with another 5/6 Garp, just because Garp is just too incredible. Play 3 Dillinger. Dillinger's effect is pretty good in combination with your leader. It makes it so that you basically just get leader for free. Like, it's just a thank you for giving me restand. Pretty good in the deck. Play 2 Carrot. Pretty much same ability as Dillinger, just a 5 with a 2K counter. So it's not bad to play in the deck, because again, it helps with using your leader ability for free. So you get to maximize your Dawn efficiency while also playing a 5 Swinger. Again, that can restand Dawn. If you can manage to get both of these on board, you get a free 2 Dawn at the end of your turn, which can help for some of the events that you run. I run 1 Sabo. Again, I only have 1 Sabo, so I'll just run 1 Sabo. In and out with this guy. He's good. I don't want to say he's bad. In this deck, he is a blocker. He does prevent KO, and he does have a counter, and he does draw 2 and this 2. So again, he's not bad, but there are other cards I've thought of consider playing aside from him. 2 Block of All. I actually need to take this up to 3. This is where I thought about taking out the Sabo to instead go up to 3 Block of Law, because 3 Block of Law is pretty good in combination with your lore drops, so that you can reuse those effects, making it feel like you have more of those cards instead of you having to wait to see more of those cards. You just already have them in play. You just need to see either a Block of Law or another one of those cards. So it just makes it so that you just have more resources to play around with and reuse. And for the Sakazuki substitute, I am running 2 of the Krieg. So his on-play ability is you can trash a card from your hand, KO up to 2 of your opponents, rested, 4 cost or lore. Now, there are very niche situations. I don't even want to say niche, but there are a lot of situations where your opponent will, in fact, have two rested characters on board. And playing cards and playing in Adelphi, this is really, really good because if they have, let's say, for instance, I can't think of what the 5/6 is that draws them to, and a Nami on board. You can put it on leader. That's now a 4 and a 2. Summon him. You can get rid of both of their advantaging cards. Sakazuki can't do that. I mean, you can swing into those cards, but they can possibly counter out of it. It's just make sure that you get rid of them. Sakazuki can only make sure that you get rid of one of them. But again, if you have something established like a Kobe on board and you've been protecting him all game, then, well, your opponent's already hurt. I play one deadly poison gas bomb MH5. I play one of these because it's really good. In this deck, this card reads, rest up to 2 of your opponent's characters with a cost 3 or less. Which is very, very powerful, especially playing against a lot of decks where they'll block her up with a lot of 3-cost blockers. You'll attach it on the leader and knock out at least 2 of those. And then if you have a KOing effect, then you just got rid of effectively all of their blockers. If you have any other level reduction on board, then again, you just effectively got rid of all of their blockers. If you have any level reduction in your hand, you effectively got rid of all of their blockers. So, there's been times where I've been playing and I've had Son Goku on board. Use leader ability with Son Goku to drop their 7 cost to 2 cost, and then rest both of them, and then play Krieg and pop both their monsters. It's nasty, man. It's nasty. It's an insane card in this deck. As far as the rest goes, it's just events, and you can mix and match these as much as you like. But I play 1 Spiderweb, 1 Pump Gibson, 1 Paradise Waterfall, and 1 Despardo. Again, you can mix and match this as you like. I just found that these events work pretty good in the deck. This event for KOing, this event for restanding, especially for restanding blockers when they don't see that coming. This event for resting, and again, this event for restanding when they don't see it coming. And also, all these have pretty decent triggers out of life, except for this one. This one KOs a rested 4 cost or less. This rests as a monster, and this gives you this gives your leader plus 2k, which is actually pretty damn good, because I've actually been in a game where they had swung 7 life, they have a 10 cost Delphi and 3 Dawn left, and they go swing 7 life, and this is the last card in my life, and I use it to bring my leader up to 7. They go swing 8 at life, and I have no more life, and I go drop a 2k, and I'm at 9, and they just lose the game after that. So I had a blocker on board, so I blocked the Delphi attack. It was pretty sweet. But that is the deck profile. If I get enough likes, I can go ahead and go over some combos and things with the deck, some things that I do with the deck, some cards that have been in and out of the deck. One of the cards that's in and out of this deck is this card right here. I was running this at 1 to 2 in the deck, but I'm still messing around with this deck. This is a really good card in the deck because it's just a really good card combination for anything that you play. One of the biggest card combos that I say that this pairs really well with is on any kind of Dawn given turn, or on a turn where you've got 5 Dawn or 6 Dawn or whatever the case may be. You can just go, summon this, search a card, you'll get 1 card to hand. If you hit, then you can go summon the Dillinger, you know what I mean? Then you'll have just the 1 card in the hand, so you exchange 1 for 1. And then you have this, so you'll rest both. You rest both to draw 2. And then because of Dillinger making your leader ability free, you just go ahead and freestand Dillinger. And yeah, it's a powerful card combination. It leaves you with 2 on board. The brand new can be used as pseudo blocker because your opponent doesn't want you to have monsters on board. It would be smarter for them to swing into this than to swing into your life. They're less likely to swing into your life because they see you just +1. So they're a little bit nervous about doing that. So they'll more than likely take this out. And this is all if you're on like a 6-stone turn. You can play this at any point. It doesn't have to be on this like perfect setup that you've seen here. At any point in the game, if you play a monster that turn, you can rest that monster, draw 1, use leader ability to restand the monster that's not going to be able to attack anyway, just to get a +1 on board. And this is essentially rest 1 +1. So yeah, that's the deck list. That's what I'm working with. There are a bunch of other cards that I play around with, but I'm not going to go into that with you guys over this video. We're already running long. Hope you guys enjoyed, and catch you in the next one.